Today we will be looking at avoidance and safety measures regarding common kitchen accidents. First, let's look at how to avoid cuts. Always ensure your knives are sharpened. This helps minimize the risk of the knife slipping or cutting you since it slides more smoothly through the desired thing you are cutting. If you were to cut yourself, disinfect the wound, cover with something like polysporin to help heal the wound, and apply Band-Aid and pressure to stop bleeding. In a more severe case, apply pressure immediately and call 911 or your local emergency services. Next, let's look at how to avoid burns. Make sure you are going slow in the kitchen. Rushing in a chaotic way while in the kitchen can increase the chances that you will come in contact with something which will burn you. Always ensure you use proper protective wear when dealing with hot kitchen items. For example, if you're pulling something out of the oven, wear oven mitts. Now let's look at how to avoid slips, trips, and falls. Go slow and pay attention to your surroundings. These two are common things that people forget to do when in the kitchen, which lead to kitchen accidents. If there is a spill, ensure you and those around you are aware of the spill. If you do slip, trip, or fall, assess the situation to determine if you should rest, ice yourself, or go to the doctors. To avoid breaking kitchen items, follow the same advice as mentioned for slips, trips, and falls. Go slow and pay attention to your surroundings. If you do break glass or plateware, be cautious when sweeping and dispose of broken kitchenware in a cardboard box, which you must tape to ensure nothing falls out, posing as a potential hazard. Finally, let's look at kitchen fires and gas. Always ensure that you tie up long hair, roll up sleeves that could catch fire, and ensure that no clothes or cloths are left near the fire. Also, make sure that your fire extinguishers are in tip-top condition so that if you were to ever need them, they function properly. When you are not in the kitchen, the stove should also always be off. If you burn a candle in the kitchen, blow it out when you leave the room. These are just some things to do to avoid fire-related kitchen accidents. If a fire is not caused by gas, you can use water or a fire extinguisher on it. If it is out of control and too dangerous for you to resolve yourself, evacuate the vicinity immediately and call emergency services. If a fire is caused by gas, you can cover it with a metal pot lid if it is small enough, or even put some baking soda over it. If it is larger, you can use your fire extinguisher. If it is out of control, evacuate the vicinity and call emergency services immediately. When using the fire extinguisher, make sure to stand about 8 meters away from the fire. Many people stand too close to the fire, which actually diminishes the fire extinguisher's ability to put out the fire. Hopefully this was informative and helped you learn more about avoidance during kitchen time so that you